We talk about, the highs and lows and the temperament, and we don't know each other that well. I never really saw your highs, and I never saw your lows. I never saw your angers or frustration.
Yeah.
You would hear things about you being angry about this or frustrated with that.
Yeah.
How were you with that in truth about, there was a moment in 2012 post-race Talladega.
Dale called it bloodthirsty.
I got out of the car and said the sport was bloodthirsty. We had a big crash on the last lap, and I said something. The rumor gets back to me that personally pissed you off. And so I guess, not the answer to that, but like, were there moments when you had a hard time not taking something personally? If Denny complains about the product on the track, and gets a fine behind, an under the table penalty or something, we all would just assume, okay, well, that must have made Brian mad, and he decided to make a decision on his own to penalize this driver, right? Were there moments when you had a hard time not letting it get personal, because there was some volatility, there was some moments that were volatile. There was a lot of, in 08, 09, 2010, drivers started talking more. We all started complaining more, louder, more publicly.
Social media became a thing.
Fans,
Right.
Fans are now chiming into those conversations. You could see the fan and the driver steer the fan steer the driver. All this stuff became a bigger challenge for you,
Yeah. Well, look, the answer is, of course, I got pissed. Yeah, sure I did, and it is personal. It's my profession. It's what we do, and it affects it. So, and it affects other people. So, I had some reaction to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I used to say, now, I always put the restaurant analogy out there, that you can't own a restaurant and go out on the sidewalk and say, hey, food's terrible inside, but we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Love to have you. It doesn't work that way. And
Got a point.
Yeah.
but I also realize that drivers have other issues. They're not going to be quiet about safety. That's for sure. They're not going to be quiet if they think there's a performance thing that they're getting the short end on. So there can be a fine line about, well, they're not really calling my food terrible. Well, that time they did. So then I'm going to get pissed.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, people will try to calm me down. Well, I think that was right out of an accident, And Mike was good about that. Mike would be the calming factor in a lot of that stuff.
That's what I heard about that particular incident at Talladega, was that when I said that to the broadcast, you got really pissed off, and we're like, I want to send a message to Dale not to say that again. And Mike said, maybe we don't do it this time, because I think Mike was privy to some injuries that I'd suffered in the crash or whatever. But
well, hold on. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when Dale called the sport bloodthirsty after the Talladega crash, do you remember your specific reaction to that and when it was?
Well, it wasn't just him. I mean, we had a bunch of people getting out, screaming and yelling, and never going back to Talladega. All of that stuff. And we own Talladega, so we're like, hold on a minute. And they're telling me never to go back, not even to come back and try our restaurant. They want us to walk by and close the doors. And, it just goes with the territory too. And if you're me, all I'm trying to do is get people to think and do what I need you to do. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm trying. As the CEO of the company, I'm just trying to get individuals to say the right thing at the right time. Yeah. And that's not going to happen in a big organization like NASCAR.
yeah.
And by the way, it shouldn't, because people, it doesn't work that way. But generally speaking, I just want, if you're going to complain about it, try to do it in a way that doesn't burn the house down. And sometimes that wouldn't always get done right. And so I'm going to have a reaction to that.
Yeah.
Can I ask, how long would it take, and let's just keep using that as an example because it's fun for me, to use Dale as an example here, but how long would it take you to typically get over or get past that? Or did you get past it?
Well, some people I didn't. And yeah, no, I didn't. Look, it was personalities, and people didn't like me for different reasons. We didn't jive. Well, you and I didn't really talk that much. I always had a lot of respect for you, but we didn't. You had a better relationship with Mike, which was great. With some of the other drivers, we just didn't agree on things, and then it can get personal.
Sure.
I'm not trying to make it personal, because all I want you to do is to get you to a place to help us grow the thing. That's all I want you to do.
Yeah.
And I want you to make a lot of money. I want you to have a great experience. I want you to have if you're talented, I want to see you go up to the moon. And matter of fact, with most drivers, I would have been the other way around. I would have been pushing them to show more emotion. Okay, we're talking about criticizing the sport or something like that. That's one thing, but most of the time, I'm on a campaign to bring out Jimmy Johnson's personality or bring out whatever it is because all I'm trying to do is grow the sport to more people at further distances. So however you can help me do that, I'm just trying to get you to do that. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Every day.
If you like that conversation with Brian France, you can listen to the whole podcast because it's all available on every podcast platform.